A lonely CEO bought dinner for a homeless family. He froze when the child left something on his table. Snow fell in a gentle curtain over New York, dusting the sidewalks in white. The wind, sharp and restless, blew down the avenues, rattling signs and sending scarves flying. It was a Friday night in December, the kind of cold that made people hurry home. Inside a small, Italian restaurant tucked between tall buildings, the golden glow of warm lights spilled out through the frosted windows. The place was cozy, timeless, with red brick walls and flickering candles on every table. Table 7 was always reserved, always untouched until he arrived. Lucas Reed stepped through the door, brushing a few flakes of snow from his charcoal coat. Tall, composed, and sharply dressed, he moved with the confidence of someone used to being in control. But there was something distant in his eyes, something quietly untouchable. Every Friday, for the past 10 years, Lucas came here, ordered the same dish, sat at the same table. Table 7 had once been Lily's favorite, his younger sister. Now it belonged to memory. He didn't need a menu. Fettuccine Alfredo, light wine, still water, he said, as always. The staff nodded. They had grown used to his silence. The quiet man in the corner, a mystery with a platinum watch and a heart no one seemed able to reach. As he waited for his meal, Lucas stared absently out the window, the falling snow catching in the streetlights like floating stars. That's when he saw them. A woman and a small child, standing just outside the restaurant's entrance. The woman was young, maybe late 20s. Her blonde hair curled softly beneath a worn beanie, and her thin coat was clearly too light for the weather. She held a little girl close to her side, both of them peering through the glass at the menu posted on the wall. The girl looked about 6, bright-eyed and pale, with a shock of golden hair barely tamed under her hood. Lucas watched as the woman bent down, brushing the girl's cheek with the back of her hand. The girl shook her head gently, then said something. Through the faint barrier of glass, Lucas caught just a piece of it. "Mom, you eat. I'm not hungry, but when your stomach hurts, mine does too. I don't want you to faint again." The fork slipped from Lucas's fingers. He looked down for a moment, then called over the server quietly. "There's a woman and child outside. Invite them in. Tell them the chef is offering dinner on the house. Do not mention me." The server blinked, surprised, but nodded and went to the door. Moments later, the woman stepped inside, holding her daughter's hand. She hesitated, eyes scanning the room. Every table was full. The server returned, uncertain. "Sir, the restaurant's packed, except..." Lucas looked at the two, still standing awkwardly near the doorway. His eyes lingered on the girl, who was smiling shyly despite her red nose and wind-chapped cheeks. He took a quiet breath, then gave a small nod. "They can sit with me." The server gestured toward table 7. The woman approached hesitantly. "I'm so sorry. We don't want to intrude." Lucas stood and pulled out a chair. "It's fine." She smiled, grateful but unsure, and helped her daughter into the seat beside him. She sat across the table, clutching her gloves nervously. The meal arrived shortly after. They ate mostly in silence. The clinking of cutlery and soft music from the speakers filled the space between them. The girl peeked at Lucas from time to time, her curiosity unfiltered. After a few minutes, she leaned toward her mother and whispered, just loud enough for Lucas to hear, "Mom, he looks like the sad prince in that story you read me." Maya smiled and whispered back, "Shh, sweetie." Lucas stared at his plate, but couldn't stop the small smile that tugged at the corner of his mouth. His first smile in years. But no one noticed. The plates had been cleared, the last bites of dessert long gone, and the air between them had softened just enough for it to feel like a memory more than a moment. Maya offered a quiet thank you, her voice full of warmth and restraint, the kind of gratitude that runs deep but has been spoken too many times to carry full weight anymore. Lucas gave a polite nod, already reaching for his coat draped neatly over the back of his chair. That was when Ellie stepped forward, her little boots padding softly across the wooden floor. She looked up at him with those wide, knowing eyes. "Excuse me, sir. Wait a second, please." Lucas paused, turning slowly. The little girl stood with both hands cupped in front of her, something wrapped delicately in a folded paper napkin. She stepped closer and offered it up to him. "This is for you," she said, her voice as sincere as a vow. "Tonight was the first time I saw my mom smile while eating dinner. I think that's worth a gift." Lucas blinked. For a moment, he wasn't sure what to say. "This is my favorite thing," she added, a little softer now. "But I think, if you're sad, maybe you need it more than I do." She slowly unfolded the napkin. Inside was a small butterfly-shaped hair clip, pale purple, slightly worn at the edges, but it had been cleaned carefully, as if it meant the world to her. Lucas froze. His eyes locked on the object, and something ancient inside him stirred. His hand, once steady and composed, trembled slightly as he reached out and took the clip. It was exactly the same. Not just similar, identical to the one he had given Lily 10 years ago, on her last birthday. The soft lavender shade, the delicate wing pattern etched into the plastic, the subtle shimmer. It had been part of a custom-designed set. There were only two. One for Lily, one that had never been found after the accident. His fingers curled around the clip, gripping it tighter than necessary. Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice hoarse, barely above a whisper. Ellie tilted her head. "I found it yesterday, on the sidewalk, near one of those roads with the yellow streetlight. It's cold there, but I like walking that way." Maya, overhearing, gently added, "Near the memorial on Fifth Avenue. She always insists on walking by that street. I never understood why." Lucas's heart slammed against his ribs. He knew that street. He knew every inch of that crosswalk, the lamppost, the curb, the way the wind always howled down the alley beside it. It was the exact place Lily had been struck by a car, the place she died, the place he had avoided for a decade. His legs buckled slightly as he sat back down, slowly, as if the weight of memory had pressed down on his spine. He stared at the clip, his eyes glassy, unfocused, his breath unsteady. No more words came. None were needed. He clutched the tiny object like it was all that tethered him to the moment, to reality, to something once lost. For a man who had built walls higher than most could climb, that single act from a 6-year-old girl, a gift freely given, had torn a hole straight through. Lucas stepped into his penthouse, the door clicking shut behind him with a soft finality. The city lights stretched endlessly beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, but the space around him felt hollow, sleek, modern, and soulless. Everything was in its place, pristine, untouched, unlived. He loosened his tie, walked past the dimly lit kitchen, and entered his study. The shelves were lined with books and awards, framed degrees and achievements, a lifetime of success neatly arranged. But he went straight to the small safe embedded behind a panel in the wall. He entered the code with practiced fingers and opened it. Inside sat a single item, a worn wooden box. He carried it to the desk, sat down, and opened the lid slowly, like lifting the cover of a wound that had never truly healed. Inside the box, carefully preserved, were the remnants of a life left behind. A photo, him and Lily, laughing on her last birthday. Her head leaned against his shoulder, her smile wide and free. He had his arm around her protectively, proudly. A folded birthday card. The ink slightly faded, but her handwriting still alive on the paper. "To the best big brother in the world, you always believe in me, even when I don't believe in myself. I'll make you proud. Love you always, Lily." And next to it, wrapped in a thin layer of tissue paper, was the butterfly hair clip. The other one. He hesitated, then reached into his coat pocket and pulled out the one Ellie had given him. He placed them side by side on the desk. Perfect match. Same color, same design, same tiny scratch on the wing. It was impossible, and yet it was real. His hand hovered over the two clips as memories came rushing back. The last day he saw Lily, the phone call she made, asking if he could pick her up after rehearsal,